Hello and welcome to Entirely English, online English school and the YouTube channel which hopes to help people understand the peculiarities of the British. And the peculiarity we're looking at today is our Mayday celebrations. So we've just finished Easter and we're into May. In Britain, as with many Western countries, Mayday marked the end of winter and the hopeful prospect of summer. Just as I mentioned in the Easter video, many of our celebrations go back to pagan times, and perhaps none more so than Mayday. Our ancestors in rural areas treated it as a major festival. It has its roots in Roman and Celtic celebrations, with two of the inspirations thought to be from Beltane and flora. The former being a Celtic celebration, which was celebrated for thousands of years on these isles, and the latter being the Roman one, celebrating the goddess Flora, the goddess of flowers and fruit. In the Middle Ages, May Day was a time of celebration, a time to drink, a time to dance around bonfires, to be debauched, quite frankly. And the early Christians did a lot to tame the unruly, pagan, and often immoral festivities of May Day, and they appointed it the feast of St. Philip and St. James. But essentially it continued to flourish as it was until the Victorian period, when there were big changes made. But before that, as I mentioned in the Easter video, like Christmas, like Easter, May Day was banned by Cromwell, saying it was a very satanic thing, and it was only reintroduced by King Charles II. But it wasn't really until the Victorian times when reformers, parsons and school teachers reorganized the event and restructured it into a cozy sort of merry old England festival. It was stripped of its roughness, like the May King, who was a representation of the Green Man, a pagan deity. He was replaced by the May Queen, who would be a young girl or a maiden from the village or town who would officially start the whole festival. And it wasn't really until 1978 when May Day was established as a public holiday. And in villages and towns across the country, people will be having fetes and doing parades through the street, people dressed up, the May Queen on a float traveling down the street, flowers everywhere, many of them paper flowers because the season has only just begun, there's not a lot to pluck, you're hoping for flowers to come. And of course, lots of delicious food. And still beer. It's Britain. And all of these traditions still go strong in our country. Aside from fetes and parades and this general party atmosphere, there are two aspects of May Day which stretch across the country. That's the Morris dances and the Maypole dance. So if you're walking through a British village around the 1st of May and you see some strange men in white shirts with bells on their legs and on their arms, waving handkerchiefs or even sticks in your direction, don't be afraid. These are Morris dancers. Morris dancing is a sort of folk dance. It goes back hundreds and maybe thousands of years, celebration of spring. Sometimes they will include an animal, such as somebody dressed with a ram's head to represent fertility. And I've seen one where a dragon came in and the Morrismen and the drummers danced him off the street. And this was a representation of winter being driven away so that summer could come. And then the last thing is the Maypole dance. With the Victorians, it, as we said, became gentler. It's a dance. They'd have young girls from schools, for example, dancing around the Maypole. They hold ribbons which are tied to the top of the Maypole, and as they dance around in different directions, they slowly wrap the pole in the ribbon in intricate patterns, intricate knots. Obviously, in the pagan times, the pole was a phallus, and it was thrusting into the sky, and the people dancing around it, the people, not just young girls, were tying it to the earth, binding it to bring fertility to the earth. But now it's a joyous dance, depending on how it's done. In some places where they just say dance around the pole, it can be a bit of a mess, a bit chaotic. But Some places they rehearse it and they do it so beautifully. It's like watching a well choreographed ballet, and slowly this pole is wrapped in the ribbons right down to the ground. Although these things are pagan, they are very much part of our tradition, and the idea of St. Philip and St. James is rarely thought of these days. So Easter into May, we have these celebrations, parades, flowers, again the Easter bonnets as I mentioned in the last one, people drinking, having a good time. If you get a chance, go to a village fete. They are charming. It is the old Merry England. I hope this was informative. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know how much you will understand about the British, apart from the fact we are very strange people. But if you like this, do please click the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with the coming videos, click subscribe. Do leave a comment. Perhaps in your country there are Mayday celebrations. As I said, these originated with the Romans and the Celtics, and the Celtics probably got them from Viking invaders, so I'm sure Norway and Sweden have these sort of traditions. In Europe, I know they have very similar events. I've seen photographs of May celebrations in Spain, Maypole dancers in France. And I'm sure America and Canada and Australia, they will have taken these traditions with them when they emigrated to those countries. But perhaps in your country, in India or Korea or Japan, you have a similar thing. Please pop it in the comments and share it with us. I'd be really interested to know. And talking about sharing, if you could share this video or any others that you've enjoyed, that will help us tremendously. So whatever you're doing for May Day, I hope you have a nice time, relax, don't have to work, and I'll see you again for the next video. Bye-bye.